Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Lojak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 177 right now with our returning guest, as always, Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. And I'm very lucky to have Nick Kalikas as a regular guest here because Nick is a consultant for numerous sports books on MMA odds making and line setting. And his website, again, is MMAOddsBreaker.com. And also from MMAOddsBreaker.com, MMA analyst Brad Tazchuk. All right, Tony Ferguson and Danny Castillo is what we're going to analyze right now. And, we have kind of a sort of a classic situation here where we have a guy who's like looking good, wondering if he's going to be better as a pretty substantial favorite here. Tony Ferguson at minus 245 against a less known and kind of scrappy underdog at Castillo plus 205. And the question is, how legit is the favorite here, and how much of a fighter's chance does the underdog have? Ferguson minus 245 again, Castillo plus 205. Brad Tazchuk, what's your first thought on these lines?
My first thought is that Danny Castillo is a 35-year-old lightweight, and when you start to get into these lighter weight classes, once guys hit that age, they definitely start to decline physically. Sure. You just can't stay into your peak quite like the heavyweights and light heavyweights are up into their late 30s or sometimes even into their 40s. So I lean towards Tony Ferguson, and I just think he's a little bit better in every area. Right. I think he's the harder striker. I think he's a little bit cleaner with his striking. I think his wrestling's good enough to avoid the takedowns from Castillo, and he's even a little bit more dangerous with his submission game that we've seen of late. So I lean Ferguson in pretty much all areas, so I do think that he comes through as a favorite here.
Yeah, that's the way it seems to me. Nick Kalikas, we got Ferguson. He's younger, taller, has a reach advantage, better striker, and a solid favorite here. So I would guess that however much action you've gotten has been mostly on Ferguson.
Actually, the line dropped open at minus 265, but it kind of got a little bit tighter. So it's been staying steady. The books have been getting two-way action, support on Castillo. I mean, he's a tremendous wrestler. He's a good fighter for sure. But again, I agree with Brad completely. I think matchup-wise, this is Ferguson's fight to win or lose. He's got the takedown defense to keep it upright, and if he does keep it upright, his standing is way more effective than Castillo's can be. Castillo has some power on the feet, definitely, but he's not going to be able to withstand, I think, what punishment that Ferguson's going to throw at him. And then if it does hit the ground, he does have to be wary because Ferguson can end it with a sub as well. So he's a more well-rounded fighter. He's a younger fighter, and I think he's the more dangerous fighter. So a lot of times, on this show, we'll say, oh, it's a dog or pass situation. So far with the first two fights that we've covered, the main event and this one, I think it's actually a favorite or pass.
All right, so Brad Tazchuk, it's a 3-round fight. Would your best bet here be just Ferguson to win at minus 245, or is there a prop that you think might have a little more value?
You know what? I really think that Ferguson's going to finish this fight, and I imagine it's probably going to be by knockout. We have seen Danny Castillo rocked in quite a few fights. We've seen him knocked out a couple times, so I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen at all. Even in the fight they've got with their shared opponent, Michael Johnson, who's kind of similar to Ferguson in terms of his striking talent. Johnson was able to knock out Castillo, so I do think that Ferguson does that as well.
All right, sounds good to me. I'm liking it. Tony Ferguson, minus 245, and by knockout might have better value than that. Thanks so much, guys.